Okay, Megovanen everyone, and welcome to a reaction and I guess quick discussion video, thoughts video of this DCU Gods and Monsters. It's like some kind of update video from James Gunn. This was suggested to me, you know, that I do this from someone, so I'm gonna do it. And it's not a short one, it's 6 minutes long, so but you know, here we go. And after this, you know, I'm gonna play something and record it. So it is January 31st 2023, so let's go check this out.
I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, you know, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam! Has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm gonna tell you about now. So, Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're gonna do that's a little bit different at DC is we're gonna have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other Lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters. We are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU like characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series.
Fucking stupid.
One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about, a very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing.
Too bad.
And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU,
financial thing, so
there
wasn't a season 2.
Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity
6 minutes
to do
went by
something
quick.
very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
Okay, I don't know what to say. Cool. All right.
And
that looks cool. The booster gold looks kind of stupid. The Supergirl may be interesting. All this other crap here, the Authority, I don't really know too much about a lot of this stuff. Paradise Lost might be kind of cool, I guess. Like a sword and sorcery thing. Was what the guy said. Themyscira, where Wonder Woman comes from. So that might be cool. Superman Legacy, okay. Oh, yeah, lanterns. Okay, yeah, I guess this looks kind of cool, I suppose, just this whole overall news. I'm mostly a Marvel guy, but even with the Marvel stuff, they're starting to get, they're putting agenda ahead of story, I guess, and accuracy of the comics. I just watched Wakanda Forever. They're supposed to be Atlanteans, not Talakans, whatever the hell that is, Talakans or something. So every time he would say that, he would say Talakanians or I would just say to myself, you mean Atlanteans? And the whole thing that they come from the Mexican people, some Mexican descendant of some sort, some variation of I forgot what, not even Aztecian, or I forgot what they mentioned. But, somewhere from like the Mexican, Spanish kind of region was those people. When I initially saw the trailers and stuff like that, I thought they made Namor, not Namor. But my enemies call me Namor. You mean Prince Namor? Even in Marvel's Ultimate Alliance game, he's referred to as Prince Namor of Atlantis, right? I thought they made him Indian, but then I found out, he's like a Spanish Mexican, guy, and supposed to be more like Asian, Asian guy, And the Atlanteans are a whole race, not what they said in there. They were the Mayan, Mexican, Spanish kind of people, and some kind of magic that made them so they can't breathe the normal air, and they have to breathe underwater. So they all relocated underwater. That's not. They're Atlanteans. It's supposed to be because they changed it. I felt it lost the mythology, a lot of the, some of that mythological lore of, Atlantis and stuff. I would have loved to have seen that. The movie itself was okay with some cool fights. the fight between the new Black Panther and Namor was just okay. I thought the fight that whoever that actress was who plays Michonne on The Walking Dead on the bridge, when she first, I think it's when she first encountered, right, those Atlanteans or whatever, Talakians or whatever they are. They're supposed to be Atlanteans. Fought for the first time on that bridge when they took Princess Shuri, I think it is, and Miss Williams, and you know, they took them down to Atlantis. No, not Atlantis, down underwater. Sorry. That fight was really, really great with her taking on all those guys. I thought that fight was probably the best one. So it's almost like they, quote unquote, blew their load early. You know, they should have reserved the really cool fights for, you know, as it got on. But instead, they opened up with such a great fight. I expected the choreography and the fights to maintain that same level of quality, you know, the same quality, but it started to kind of dip a bit. When it comes to all the woke stuff people were complaining about, the way it sounded like is they made it sound like the men were all useless and buffoons. Sure, it was heavy focus on the women, but I didn't really see, it didn't seem like they made the men like buffoons. But it did seem heavily focused on the women, yeah, and okay, you know, that's fine. As someone once told me, though, they should have just recast Black Panther, because they've recasted people for less. Take a look at Don Cheadle taking over the role of James Rhodes from Terrence Howard, right? There was some kind of argument. I guess it was something like he wanted top billing or something, and otherwise you won't get me. So they just fired him and got Don Cheadle to replace his role or replace him. So they did it for less. And now that, you know, the original Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, was it, died, they should have just replaced his character, you know, and still honor him, but they still should have, you know, just replaced him instead of just, you know, they used this to seize the opportunity to make a female Black Panther, to have another female hero, which is all part of the, you know, the whole thing. It's like, so long as it has diversity and female lead, it's going to get applauded for that, and people are going to cheer, not because something is good. It's no longer a matter of cheering and standing up and giving a standing ovation and cheering and applauding something for being good because of the quality of story, but it's more of, is it diverse enough? You know, that is worthy of applause now, sadly. But hopefully things are turning in a different direction and everything can kind of normalize again and just start telling good stories without any kind of agenda, and I think everything would be okay. And not only that, not just diversity, but diversity in everything. It's got to have, like, you know, the gay characters and the trans and stuff like that. So long as all that stuff that I guess they felt was not being promoted back then, that's being promoted now. So long as it has all that, then it's worthy of applause. Whereas back then, you know, I was watching Friday the 13th, the series. It's like in 1988, 89 to like 90. It lasted 3 years, you know, with Chris Wiggins. And again, I've seen, you know, that has racial diversity. There are Chinese and blacks mixed in with the whites, and there were a couple. There's no problem. What is considered woke now, showing the diversity of everything, now, what is considered woke now, all that stuff, was considered normal back then, not worthy of any kind of praise, because it's normal. Like we are now celebrating mediocrity. You know, it's like it started off, you know, sure, let's celebrate and have a party because you got all straight A's, so that's worthy of having a party thrown. But now it's like, oh, now you put on your lipstick correctly, so now let's throw another party. Oh, okay, you just got a haircut, so now that's worthy of applause, and it's worthy of another party. So you see how ridiculous things have become, whereas before we're celebrating mediocrity, whereas back then, a black and white together, a Mexican and a Chinese, or there's gay people, it's no big deal. It's normal. It's just a way of life. You know, that's normal. It's a normal thing. You know, it was all good, and there's no need to overhype it. You know. Anyways, I'm sorry for getting off on a tangent. I'm starting to explain things too much, and it's just meant for this. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and see you.